949 feet, or some maps, some they got 2 feet more, and other times got 951. It is 50 feet short of the mountain. That's why they said it's the highest hill in County Limerick, because it was 50 feet higher to be a mountain.
How big is Mount Brandon?
The home of Knockfierna, and there's a cave on the far side which takes you off in through, and it takes you down to Carrigagunnell Castle off over here on the banks of the Shannon. And there is a dolmen in Giant's Grave about 100 yards on this northern side of the hill. And here beside us was something like, I suppose, where the bush is over those that little green mound. Little heaps like that were here, and maybe again something similar to the wall behind you, that type of thing. Or this piece over here, where you get the shape where one zoomed in that there might be houses. So in the course of digging or picking out the stones, you will notice in the houses that on the bottom portion you have the original stone foundation, and higher up in you have the 1996 version of the 1850 construction. Because the houses give that little bit of an extra feature, even though they mightn't necessarily be as old as the house right beside it. Aileen, the land McNamara, thought it was bed and breakfast. We were incorporating the modern his and her type bungalow scheme as she came over the hill. She thought she was in business. But they are actually built on original foundation, so that is the positions of them. The door mightn't have been correct, because sometimes with the digging and the poking out we might get the doors right, but in most of them the doors are correct, and we can assume the hell stuck the door facing northwards anyway for the northern breeze. So if you follow me or look in there on your own, you'll be fine. One not touched, it wouldn't blend in together. This is very proper and reasonable suggestions, such as 2 sods. The next one now, Pat McNamara, the man beside me from Clare, we realised he came, he's a fine musician. We wanted to choose from him before he goes, before the water run out of his eyes. I think maybe it is the thought of all those people who died of starvation when the famine is causing him to weep. Maybe it is the cold, we know not. George Daly, the man with the cap, he's a Kerry man. And we won't hold that against him this evening, but we were here in what was it, George Lepies?
1990.
1996 years ago, we had I should have introduced David O'Reilly there, the young lad with the fair hair, and his brother John here beside us, there 2 committee members, secretary, and Paddy Benson, of course, another one beside us, and Nora here beside us, and Nelly, they've all been with us, and sometimes they phase out and then they blow back in again, but we're delighted to blow in again this evening.
On the 8th of December, Pat, by the way?
The 8th of December 1990, that cross up in the hill, it had been put up by a committee here in 1950, and it was wired through to the rural electrification scheme in 1952. They tell me now I'm not blowing from over behind the smoke at the other side. And it was lit and wired in 1952 by the Fitz who lived down the bottom of the hill, and all the local people in this area in 1952. We have all the records and the receipts of the sugar and the raffles and the collections and everything that took place at that time. And they have a private line coming, 10 poles or 6 poles coming from down the main road up to this. It's a private line, completely private. So that was passed on to us then about 10 years ago when we come in. And the local young lads then decided they didn't like the lights and the bulbs and the glasses, so they pulled them all off the place and broke them out. As George said, on the 8th of December 1990, it was -6 here at 4 o'clock in the evening. And George and others couldn't open the door of their cars, and they came back down off the hill after getting that rewired and his lighting still. Sorry,
No, you go.
You want to get to it?
Yes.
The window. Oh, the window. No, it's chimney over here, and you have no chimney. Go to back.
Or you remove the stone outside and the kind of a channel came in. Indeed, very old ones, yes. Now we'll keep it rolling. That one you can see. That one you can see where the line of the wall is. There is the original wall, and it was all stones all over. And as I said a while ago, Avril Doyle was gone when they got down to the next couple of stones. She was here on Saturday one time. So you can see the mud, and it's quite easy to see that it was all there original, and the hobs, and there's quite a deep place for the ashes. And most of you would remember people sitting in the hobs, no, even the smaller ones. Paddy Buckley was asking there a while ago. Paddy Buck, I should have introduced him, the young lad with the blondie hair as well.
Yeah, Blondie is right.
From
Yes,
Tipperary Midwest Radio.
and my friend there, Joe.
Sorry?
Joe and Cyril as well.
Joe and several fellas as well.
Well, he's not gone that high yet, no.
And there isn't bellises, I'm sure there wasn't bellises at that particular time, but in the older houses we found that one of the ones over the two small houses beside the gate, they had a little hole coming through and a stone, and they would have removed the stone from the outside and to create a draft through and up and under the fire to keep it lighting. It was also the old traditions of May, which we probably gathered during the course of the night, that they lit the fire on May Day, and that fire was kept lighting until the following May. It never quenched until they quenched it on May Eve again, and then it was lit. The fires were never quenched. They usually got the ashes and piled it up, and neither did they leave the pishogs and the maids later on, but they didn't give a fire to anybody, so to speak. They would go from house to house with coals and shovels and things. There are a number of houses of this size around here. We have this one down, and there's one just at the far side of the O'Malley's house there in the green field. The side behind you there you will see O'Malley's house. She was the captain of the White Boys, and just beyond that is another house similar to this one in style, or size rather than style. But this one gives a little porch. Again, you will see the bottom part that has got the original stones, and it's also a little porch coming out, which is rather unusual as well. There's a number of that type of foundation still around the hill, quite a few of them, but we just rebuilt two of them at the present time. And just over here, a small little bit, we'll walk over and you will see the cause of all the problems that happened at that time, where the potato was the main diet of the people. And you will also, if you're not looking out, you will see the fine land and the fine cattle they would have been looking down at, but they couldn't touch. Cattle are leaving down Mark Johnson. Potato ridges in different parts of the hill. That field actually there behind the green field is full of potato ridges. Just that green field there near us. But they're in all different parts of the hill, those ridges.
That's down the back there.
No. Up over shouldn't be ridge, it could be Shannon Golden Hill. That's where Roast Hill. We'll move back onto the houses on the way down.
They used to build it at the last row on top of the stone masons. Used to put flags slightly about twice the thickness of that. And the stone masons in 1847-48, their wages were 4pence a day from sunrise to sunset.
Yeah.
And they were happy as Larry and how the people would know that they were at work. They'd be whistling at their work of a summer's morning. You hear nobody whistling now.